Do you have trouble paying attention? Are you uncomfortable? Do you feel restless? Well, good. So in preparation for this video, I looked up the move fidgeting, and I found these to be the most common issues associated with fidgeting. Trouble paying attention, being in an uncomfortable situation, and feeling restlessness. And if that's the case, I have all those issues, so. What up, crew? Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Fidget Friday. I just actually made that up. It's not an actual thing I do. Don't come back here next Friday expecting me to do like fidget stuff. It's probably not gonna happen. Most likely not gonna happen. If you're joining me for the first time, hey there, my name is Vineet and I go by CardMechanic here on YouTube. I feel like everyone has done, is doing, or will do some kind of fidgeting in their life. Whether it be sitting in school, listening to a lecture, waiting in line, waiting for your life to end. So regardless of what you're fidgeting about, I want you to look super skilled when doing it. These are my top 3 favorite fidget moves with playing cards. Let's do it. Flicker is a move that I first saw performed by Hero on Low, and I remember at that time it was the coolest thing I had ever seen in my life. But when broken down, the move itself was so simple, but making it look good was the secret to mastering it. So Flicker at a quick glance looks something like that. You're pretty much taking this card and moving it around using just 3 of your fingers, your middle finger, index finger, and your thumb. So now that you have that background, that was like 2 seconds, let's go ahead and break down this move. All the moves I'm going to share with you are single card flourishes, so if you have a whole deck of playing cards, get rid of it, because all you need is 1 card. Flicker isn't too technically difficult, right? So let's just get right into it. Just hold the card for now in your non-dominant hand as we adjust with our dominant hand, which will actually be doing the flourishing. So you're holding the card in your non-dominant hand, come over with your dominant hand, index finger on top, thumb on the bottom. So it's going to look something like this. Make sure to extend out your fingers as far as they go. So right here, and you're holding the card like this. Now, when you're doing this flourish, you're going to pull back. As you pull back, you want to make sure these fingers don't get in the way. Pull back like this. So from here, pulling back, your middle finger now is going to go on the opposite edge. So where your index finger is pointing, that's where the middle finger is going to go, like this. And now you're going to grip this card. You want to curl in your index finger while gripping this card with your middle finger on this side. So we're here, right here, pull back, grip here, curl in that index finger. And now you're going to grip this card between your middle finger and index finger and let go with your thumb. So we're here, let go with our thumb, extend these fingers out. It's going to look like this, middle finger on top, index finger on bottom. For this move, you're going to swap both of these positions. So index finger is going to go on top, middle finger is going to go on the bottom. Turn around like this, bring it back, make contact with your thumb next to the middle finger like this, and then release with your middle finger like that, and you're back in starting position. That is it. That's pretty much the move. One more time, the sped up tutorial, hold the card between index finger and thumb, pull in. As you pull in, curl in your index finger, middle finger goes out, grabs, so grab this card between your index finger and middle finger, release with your thumb, straighten out, looks like this, swap positions, middle finger, index finger, goes like this, thumb makes contact right next to the middle finger, release with the middle finger, and you're back to starting position, and you're just doing that. Now, like I said, making this move look good is where the secret is. So of course anyone could just do this, it's, very easy to do. But now the thing is, you want to incorporate some wrist movements to make this move look even bigger. So for example, here we have this. This is how it normally looks, right? Nothing too wild. But if we start using our wrist to kind of help with this action, so if we're doing something like this, you can see the move is starting to look a little bit better. And if we even use the rest of our arm or your, what's this called? Start moving parts of your elbow along with your wrist and the rest of the motion that you're doing, it'll look so much better and a lot bigger. But then again, if you're just using this as a fidget move, just using your wrist movements and your finger movements are good enough. So that is Flicker. Have you ever seen a professional baller spinning a basketball on the tip of his finger? Or have you ever seen a ballerina doing a pirouette? We're gonna do the exact same thing, but with a playing card. When I first got into handling playing cards, I thought the pirouette was so cool. It's literally just spinning a card on the tip of your finger. I mean, I tried to do it with a basketball, I couldn't. I tried to do it with whatever other balls people use, and I couldn't. But with a playing card, that gave me a shot. Let's take a deeper look into pirouette. This is one of those moves that I still don't have down 100%, but regardless, I love doing it, right? So the pirouette looks something like this. Of course, you're balancing the card on your middle finger on your dominant hand, and you're using your index finger and thumb to kind of spin that card, right? So that's just a quick theoretical tutorial on how it works. But when you do it, you see it's not always going to be perfect. You see that? It's not, actually, it's better than I expected right now. There we go. So anyway, it's super quick tutorial for this move. You're going to be holding the card right in the center. You want to be able to balance it on your middle finger. So I'm holding it right in the center. As you can see, I have like a nice little circle there. Tells me where the center is. Holding it right there, make sure the card is balanced. And now you're going to be using your thumb. I'll put it on the opposite side of your middle finger. And then you're going to be using your index finger now to kind of help spin this card. And when you're spinning, right, you're not only moving your index finger, you're also moving your middle finger a little bit. So the action below is looking something like this, holding the card like this, right? And what's happening is I'm moving this back while pushing this slightly forward. So it's looking something like this, while my thumb is still holding a little bit on top. So you may want to practice just doing this at first to see how you feel with controlling that card. Once you're comfortable with this motion, you want to start by slowly releasing with your thumb. So you're doing this motion and then just slowly release with your thumb and see if the card remains balanced, right? And you'll see the card spins just a very small amount because, again, we're not applying too much force right now, but you see the card spins a very small amount. And this is where you kind of want to start. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. Guarantee you mine's nowhere near perfect, but this is definitely a good starting point. And once you get more and more comfortable with the moves, you can really start pulling with that index finger to make the card spin a lot longer. And one quick tip that I do want to add, if your middle finger is a little moist and not too dry, it'll definitely help the card spin a lot better. I guarantee you if I did this while my finger was dry, this card would just freaking fly away. And there you have the lovely Pirouette. Ferris is a move created by Dave Buck where a card is kind of flipped over in a very flashy way. I've incorporated this in so many of my card tricks to kind of just level it up that I'm perfect. I'm so perfect at it. Yeah, Ferris. The first time I saw Ferris was when Chris Ramsey performed it in one of his videos, and I just thought it was so cool. You're just taking a card, flipping it over, flipping it over, flipping it over, just doing this all day long, and it just became like a weird fidget thing that I did. So here we are. Fidget move with the Ferris. Alright, so let's talk about this Ferris guy. Now generally when I do this move, I'm actually always holding a deck of playing cards. I don't know why. I've never actually done it like this, like I showed in my performance, which I guess it still works, but there we go. I guess it still works, but just because I do it so much with card tricks in the revealing process or in the card selection process, I'm used to just doing it with a deck of playing cards in my hand, so that's how I'm going to teach it. But of course, feel free to only use that single card if you'd like. Now here's how the Ferris move looks. So I like to start off with the deck in an elevated straddle grip, looks something like this, not touching the palm of my hand, push over a single card. Now I'm going to grab the top corner of this card that is closer to my dominant hand, right? So if you're holding this card, if you're holding the deck in your left hand, I push off towards my right hand and I'm going to grab the top right hand corner. But if I was holding the cards in my left hand, I would push that card over and grab the top left hand corner, right? So again, I'm just gonna do this because I'm a righty. So I push that over and I'm gonna grip the top right hand corner or the top corner closer to my dominant hand with my index finger and my thumb. So I'm gripping just like this, right on the corner. Now what's gonna happen is my middle finger is gonna extend out. It's gonna come close to my thumb like this, and I'm gonna release with my thumb. So we're here, release with my thumb. So that pretty much in turn makes the card go from here to here, right? So again, from here, if I put it between my index finger and middle finger now, if those are the only two fingers holding it and I release with my thumb, that card pretty much just goes from horizontal like this, 90 degrees, to vertical like this. And all we're doing in Ferris is helping that motion go all the way through, do a full 360. So it's actually 540 degrees. So when you're taking this card like this, it's gonna go all the way around like this and then another 180 degrees. So 540 degrees, 1.5 turns. So anyway, back to the move. Grab the corner, extend out the middle finger so it's next to the thumb on top, and the card straightens out, right? Now you can use your thumb actually. You can see the card kind of peeking out a little bit right over here. You can use the thumb actually to grip the card here and turn it over your index finger. So again, we're here, straighten out like this. Again, we're doing this palm up, by the way. Here, like this, using the thumb now to help spin it over. And as your thumb is helping to spin this card over, middle finger is going on top, index finger is going to go below. And as you turn your whole wrist palm down or your whole hand palm down, it's going to look like this. And then this card will now make contact with the rest of the deck, or if you're not holding the deck, with the rest of your hand, with this edge that's away from the rest of your fingers. And just take a look into how I'm holding this card right now. Middle finger on top, index finger is on the bottom, thumb is no longer holding it. As soon as this edge makes contact with the deck or your hand, you're going to release with the middle finger and let the index finger turn this card over. So up to speed, it's looking like that. But of course, when you're doing it up to speed, you really don't have to worry about too much of like being here and the index finger pushing it over. Just the momentum that the card builds up and going to this phase, or going through this rotation, spinning, whatever it's called, the card will eventually fall over by itself. The one thing you may want to test out is the height at which you're doing this. I would recommend not doing it like over here, right? Because the card's obviously going to miss. But you want the card to be somewhere close so that when it starts falling, it'll make contact. The edge will make contact with these fingers before it flips over. So just something, I almost dropped the card. So just something like that. And that, my friends, is Ferris. So there you have it, my top 3 favorite single card fidget moves / flourishes that'll make people call you out for not paying attention, being restless, and feeling uncomfortable. You're welcome. But seriously, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.